What's going on, everybody? If you made it to this video, congratulations for passing your night's check ride and making it out of the Black Hawk course. So in this video, we're going to talk about ALE. So ALE is right after the Black Hawk course or your advanced airframe course, depending on what airframe you get selected for. And then they group everybody that recently graduated together and they put them through ALE. So ALE is 4 weeks long. There is an introduction week, a CNF week, which is the exercise week. For the warrants, week 3 is also more exercise week. For the officers, it will be like an officer development week. And then week 4 will be the out processing week. Now, this was a few months back for me, so please forgive me if I leave anything out. Just leave it down in the comments. So let's get right into it. So what is ALE exactly? So ALE is where you're going to learn how the Combat Aviation Brigade works, and you're going to learn a lot about the planning processes that go into doing what we do as Army aviators. You've gone through flight school for anywhere from 15 to 20 months, and you've done nothing but focus on the aircraft, which obviously it's extremely important. It's the most technical thing we do. But a part of that is, okay, what do you do after flight school? You know how to fly a helicopter, you know how to fly an aircraft. What do you do now? And ALE does a good job of covering that. So most of you will go to what's known as a CAB or a Combat Aviation Brigade. Some of you will go to training posts where you do aviation support to training for training units or medevacing units that are training. Some of these units will be at NTC, Fort Polk, Fort Benning, and Grafenwehr, but all of you will go to a Combat Aviation Brigade. And that's why ALE centers around the Combat Aviation Brigade. So in week 1, you get an introduction class on the aviation units and how they're set up, what their mission sets are, how they operate, what they do, how many aircraft they have in them, all of that stuff. They go really in depth for an entire week on this. If you're a 60, you'll go to either the Air Assault Battalion or the General Support Aviation Battalion. If you're an Apache guy or girl, you'll go to the Attack Battalion or the Attack and Reconnaissance Battalion. And then if you're a Chinook pilot, you'll be located under the GSAB. So that's week 1. So it's an introduction into aviation units and kind of the day-to-day life after flight school. Week 2, you'll go into a building known as the CNF. The CNF is a complex that has a bunch of planning rooms and simulator devices. Now this week is focused on mission planning and mission execution. So your class will be assigned a class leader or an AMC, an Air Mission Commander, and then they will also select a warrant to be the flight lead. So the Air Mission Commander pretty much oversees the entire planning process, and he gets the mission from the cadre who are acting as the higher headquarters, and then he takes that op order and breaks it down and assigns people to work on and be responsible for certain pieces of that mission. The flight lead analyzes the terrain and looks at everything and then takes what the ground force commander wants, and he analyzes the best way to get there. And then when we get there, how are we going to land? How are we going to refuel? What formation are we going to be flying? What speeds? What altitude? the flight lead is doing all of this, and then the air mission commander is really overseeing the whole planning process as far as integrating with the ground mission commander or the task force commander. He's blending those together and making sure this mission gets done the way it needs to be done. So that's week 2. A lot of it's planning. So you receive this mission. Your AMC will divvy out all of the tasks to everyone in the class. Apache people will work on Apache stuff. Black Hawk people will work on Black Hawk stuff. Chinook people will work on Chinook stuff. And then if you're a C-12 pilot, they assign you to work on the UAV assets. In the game, it's a shadow or a group of shadows, and the C-12 pilots will work on that part. So they focus on like route reconnaissance and taking a look at NIAs and stuff. Once the planning process gets done, they give you guys about 24 hours to plan it, and you go in these simulator devices and you actually fly it all as a class. You fly the whole mission from start to finish as a class. Now, the simulator devices are not the ones you guys are used to that you've been using in the course at the General Dynamic facility. These are kind of a little dated, to be honest with you. You go in there, you got this big giant bulky helmet that they put on you. It's got these goofy looking like goggle things mounted on the front of it. It's not the simulators you're used to. The graphics suck, but I will say that you can see other aircraft, and they kind of got the cockpit configuration right. But as far as the devices being like the ones we're used to at the General Dynamic facility, nah, they missed the mark. But I got to give them credit. You can plan this mission, you can execute it, and you can see what it looks like. So I'll give them credit on that one. Now week 3, commissioned officers will go get a bunch of class on officer stuff, and warrants will actually stay at the CNF and do more simulator and mission planning stuff, unfortunately. I do have a couple of warrant friends that told me that that part of ALE was pretty much a comedy show. I don't know. I didn't have that experience. I went to the commission side and we received junior leader classes, really. I didn't benefit that greatly from it. Like I mentioned to you guys in previous videos, I came in to flight school later, so I had been a platoon leader, I'd been an XO, I had been on staff, so I'd already done all of the positions that they are talking about in week 3. I don't want to say I didn't take anything away from it. I mean, it was good, but it was more targeted at the newer lieutenants, and it should be. It should be. So I think they took a lot away from it. And then week 4 is just used for out processing. And then at the end of week 4, you graduate and get your wings. So there's that. So in the next video, I am going to be covering the medical doctrine course. So stay tuned for that. The medical doctrine course is primarily for 67Js or medevac pilots, for those of you who do not know. I am a 67J, but it is open to 15 series guys. So if you want to go to the med doctrine course, you're just going to have to run it through first of the 145th, and hopefully they let you go. But that will be what the next video is about. I'll cover that as much as I can, and stay tuned for that. And thank you guys for supporting my channel.